Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Trophy Room Reacts to some breaking news. The breaking news is that PlayStation is set to acquire Firewalk Studios. But before we get into all that goodness, along with me, the greatest co-host, whoever is, whoever will be, Mr. Kyle Stevenson. How are you, sir?
I'm great, but how dare you, PlayStation? You do this all the time.
All the time.
We're so tired of it.
We're tired.
And when I say we, I don't mean Joe and I just... anyone who podcasts about video games, especially PlayStation, how dare you? The day of the new episode going, you announce something major like this? How dare you?
Which, it is pretty major. It's something, again, I want to just touch on it briefly. We'll cover it more in depth on next week's episode, but it's because of that anger that I have in my chest of releasing what I think is a fantastic episode of this week's Trophy Room, which you should check it out here on youtube.com/@PS Trophy Room. Hit subscribe, like, share. It helps us out a big bunch. So I was like, let's just record something nice and quick, our immediate reactions to this news, which I'm going to be pulling up the email right here, right now, that reads, Sony Interactive Entertainment to acquire Firewalk Studios from Probably Monsters, Inc. Announced today it has entered into an agreement with Probably Monsters to acquire Firewalk Studios, a studio of industry-leading creatives developing an original AAA multiplayer game for PlayStation 5 and PC. Firewalk will collaborate along world-class development teams, including Bungie and Revan Interactive Studios, to define a new generation of live service experience for PlayStation gamers. That's just a brief synopsis. Of course, we got the CEO of Firewalk going, it's really great to have you be here. It's such a what a lovely audience. Yeah.
Can you imagine if they said the complete opposite after they've been acquired? I hate it here.
Listen, we just needed the cash and the security, you know? I'm tired of signing these checks with my name on it. I'd rather you do it, Jim. So, immediately, this is one of the teams that PlayStation announced a second-party XDev relationship with, right? Alongside another team known as Revan, right? That was also acquired last year.
There's another one too, right?
Yeah, and Deviation Games.
Deviation Games, yeah.
So it seems like PlayStation is in all intents and purposes, because for those of you who don't know, Firewalk is a new studio. They have not put out a game, to my knowledge. These are developers from Bungie, or ex-developers from Bungie, Revan Sowftware, and Respawn, creating a multiplayer game for PlayStation. That is literally all we know. So, Kyle, I want to know your immediate reactions when you heard this news, other than, oh, gosh darn it, why couldn't you say this yesterday so we could have a good podcast about it?
I think this is a great get.
Yeah.
And I say that without playing a game of theirs yet. Just to me, this gives me comfort in the fact that PlayStation is going to grow and build their studios with talented teams that they clearly believe in.
Yeah.
Similar to Revan, right? We have no idea what that game is. We don't know what this game is, other than it's going to be a multiplayer thing. And this goes along with their talk about being live service kind of focused.
Yep.
And so, like, this gives me more hope that they're going to fulfill that kind of dream. They're what's the word I'm looking for? They're following up on their promise. Right,
okay.
Like it's not a like the failed Vita, right, where they put it out and then they just completely stopped really supporting it. Right. They have a vision. They're going along with it. Clearly, Firewalker is doing something incredibly right. Yeah. And this is awesome. New teams are great.
Yeah. To echo that, you know, the one thing that I like seeing from PlayStation, it's something that we've been championing for, it seems like, years now. Ever since we started seeing both PlayStation and Xbox starting to acquire studios, this is what I want to see. As much as, listen, I would love an ABK under PlayStation's belt. I'd be lying to you if I wouldn't say that having Bethesda wouldn't be pretty darn cool. But those things to me aren't inherently PlayStation, if that makes sense. I love how we see PlayStation develop relationships with developers before purchasing them. I think the most popular one being Insomniac, right? A long-standing, decades-plus relationship with them, and then they finally get a ring on it. Same with Housemarque, right? Develop relationships. I mean, you take a look at most of PlayStation, if not all of PlayStation's, first party, they're all from relationships that have been built. Like Sucker Punch purchased, I think, around the time of Infamous 1 or 2. Naughty Dog purchased back in the 90s. So, like, you're seeing PlayStation build these studios up from the ground up. Haven is a new studio based in Quebec. Their game is unannounced, but you can see that PlayStation sees a vision in what Haven can do in multiple projects, not just games, but the infrastructure of cloud services within the PlayStation ecosystem. We're seeing it here with Firewalk. And I think this is and I'll push this right over to you, Kyle, is, you're right. They're creating a multiplayer game, a live service game, in the wake of possibly losing Call of Duty. We got it. They're gonna sign it. We're gonna sign the paper. We know it. Yeah. We know Jim's gonna reluctantly do it. Yeah. Phil's gonna press his hand to the paper, just do it.
Even better, Phil created just a stamp.
Exactly.
So all he has to do is stamp it.
It's like, Jim, seriously, it's your signature. Just pray. Just let it end.
And sign it. Whatever. Just get it done.
Exactly. Just click the check mark. God damn it, Jim. But like in that reality that we're in of them losing the revenue from that game, or a lot of revenue from that game, they're looking to other options. They're being proactive about it rather than reactive. And to see them build these studios up alongside them is promising to see. Kyle, I bring this over to you as the last question. Do you think this this acquisition would have happened if Call of Duty wouldn't be off the table, so to speak?
Ooh, interesting. So are you saying this is PlayStation's rebound?
I mean, yeah. You can ask Jan to prom, so you ask Mary.
Sure. I think
Firewalk Mary.
I think it would have happened regardless. Honestly, I think, especially after how the Haven acquisition happened, I just think this is how PlayStation is going to operate. And if they are seeing behind the scenes of what this partnership that was already before acquisition is going, and they're super in on it, why not just buy them up now while this sounds shady or a little bit greedy, but like while their price is low?
Sure.
Before if the game is a hit, then the price increases. Like it is a smart business move. But yeah, I love this. I love adding more members to the PlayStation family because it's just going to mean more diverse types of games and genres that they're going to put out, and not only be known for like the third person action stuff, which is still great.
Which is fine.
I love my third person action games from PlayStation Studios, but this is great. Welcome to the family.
They need to diverse the portfolio, and this makes complete sense. You can't just rely on one megaton game to keep you sustained. And
what have I said for a long time? PlayStation needs an exclusive first person shooter.
Yeah.
That's the one thing they really do not have.
And I think as long as this thing doesn't tote itself to be a Halo killer, Call of Duty killer, as long as it doesn't, if it's different, I think that's the most important thing. It needs to be different. It needs to set itself apart from those things in order for it to, I feel, survive. But who knows? You know what? You got X Defiant looking like it's a contender. But nonetheless, to me, I agree with you, Kyle. This is them diversifying their portfolio. This is them having a studio that is known, or at least their development teams are known for making this type of product. And now you get help from places like Haven, if you need cloud, service help, and places like Bungie that's going to help you with the live service element. So we're starting to see.
This is a live service too.
Yeah, and so we're starting to see all those, cogs being put into place, and we're starting to see the machine run of how PlayStation's going to start to function differently, which is exciting. And again, these are the acquisitions that we've been wanting here. Support the smaller devs with the bright visions. I don't think PlayStation needs a ABK because they have the legacy of, God of Wars and Uncharted's and whatever have you thereafter. So there you go. Well, you'll love to see it.
If they continue this trend, do you think deviations at some point soon?
Oh yeah. I mean, we talked about it last year. They had DualSense
on the walls and
and everything. Like it was. You could see Jim signed up for that check.
As long as they make a pit stop over at Ember Labs. We keep saying it. Just like, come on.
God, please, for the love of
don't
God.
let them go.
Please don't let them. I know they have like a 3-game deal with them, but
good. That's
please
fine.
Don't let them go. And
don't
I think
let them go.
Yeah, and I think this makes more sense as we've seen the bad news out of Media Molecule this week, where this is a kind of like hey, this is a nice little tidbit for you.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That being said, Kyle, we have so much more to talk about this, but it's awesome that we got this all here out of the way in our reactions to the Firewalk acquisition by PlayStation.
Yeah.
If you like what you saw here, please hit like, share, subscribe. Make sure you listen to or watch because you're on YouTube. That's how that works.
Oh, hey, yeah. What about the new news?
I mean, that's the thing. You hit like, share, subscribe. You get to watch all of our podcasts down below. And in 2 weeks from now, on May 3rd, 2023, the year of our shoe, we're recording the Trophy Room live. It's turning into a live show where you get to join in the chat. I'm already talking to some names, talking to some figures, talking about getting some things in place to make that day extra special. So, with all that said, with all that out of the way, everybody, keep your wits about you, keep hunting, and keep playing PlayStation. See you guys.
Bye. Love you.